The RAM upgrade you are putting off costs twice when it compared to last year. It's $90 July 2025 and $200 now in August 2026. More than doubled. The same silicon, the same box, same mistakes, nothing has changed. Apple has raised price of their MacBooks and iPads, named memory as the reason. HP, Dell, Lenovo also followed that. The phone on your hand cost 8 to 10% more to its maker to build than it did a year ago. No earthquake, no flooding, no any kind of natural disaster. Wafer output held flat to rising. Actually, 3 companies choose this. Hi, I am Pasindu Kahawewidana. Welcome to my channel. Today in this video, I am going to talk about how 3 companies redirected world's memory supply towards AI, artificial intelligence, and how that decision reached your device, and how that decision costs you, and why that plan started to failing. By the end of this video, you will know what is the factor will going to decide whether these prices come back down. For 3 decades, DRAM got cheaper. It ranked among the least expensive silicon in a phone. Almost nobody tracked its price. 3 firms make nearly all of it. TrendForce put Samsung at 38.5% of DRAM revenue in the first quarter of 2026, HK Hynix at 28.8%, Micron at 22.4%, and CXMT China is at 7.6%, and together 89.7% of the $97 billion quarter is controlled by Samsung, HK Hynix and Micron. In late 2025, direction reversed. DDR5 spot prices rose 307% between early September and mid-November. Conventional DRAM contract prices then rose 93 to 98% in single quarter. Order fulfillment for equipment makers fell to 30 to 40%. Only 30 to 40% of equipment fulfillments were there. Earlier shortages had some physical reason for that. It can be flood or fire, plant closure, or any kind of natural disaster, but this one has none. The fabs kept running throughout the year continuously. Only change happened is the where the supply redirected. That story starts with the largest customer in the industry has ever had. Credit Sites estimates the 5 largest cloud companies will spend about $750 billion on capital projects in 2026, roughly 3/4 of it on AI infrastructure. Amazon alone guided to about $200 billion. The constraint in AI is not compute. It is supplying compute with data. An accelerator that cannot be fed fast enough sits idle. We are calling this limit as memory wall. OpenAI's Chief Operating Officer (COO) Brad Lightcap named memory rather than GPUs as the industry's biggest bottleneck. So AI buys different kind of DRAM. We are calling them as high bandwidth memory. High bandwidth memory sits beside the processor and delivers data in bulk. HBM3E moves about 1.18 terabytes per second per stack. It has sold at 4 to 10 times the price per same gigabyte of ordinary DRAM. And hyperscalers contract it in years advance. Building more of it cost more than that price gap suggests actually. HBM uses the same silicon as ordinary DRAM. These are thin and stacked 8, 12 and soon it will be 16 high and bonded vertically through thousands of through silicon wires, then mounted on an interposer. 1 gigabyte of HBM consumes roughly 3 to 4 times the wafer area of 1 gigabyte of DDR5 by Banks of America estimate. Larger dies via overhead and yield loss at every layer account for this difference. IDC experts 2026 DRAM grow about 16%, with commodity DRAM, which means ordinary DRAM, is near 10% and HBM near 29%. Actually, both commodity DRAM, which means ordinary DRAM like DDR4, DDR5, and also HBM, also we are calling HBM also a kind of DRAM. New capacity cannot close that gap in time. 10,000 wafers a month of advanced capacity cost around $10 billion, and a DRAM investment takes 18 to 36 months to reach their output. So all of these three suppliers reallocated. They get higher profit margin when they allocated their silicon or their silicon supply toward HBM rather than ordinary DRAM like DDR4, DDR5. And also HBM required more silicon than DDR for same gigabyte size. And here's the line that explains your price tag. Every wafer redirected or routed towards HBM will never come inside your device, inside your laptop or phone. They will go toward hyperscalers, AI accelerators, not for your consumer device. Yeah, that's why the consumer DRAM supply was decreased, supply drops, demand kept increasing, so price were increased. IDC, the International Data Corporation, described the shift as potentially permanent strategic reallocation of the world's silicon wafer capacity rather than a cyclical shortage. Hynix and Micron issued end-of-life notice for DDR4 and LPDDR4X. Annual contracts gave way to monthly quoting in late 2025 because prices moved faster than contract could reprice. DRAM became allocated rather than purchased. Hyperscalers held multi-year agreements with advance payments. PC, mobile and industrial buyers took what remained. The cost moves downstream. TrendForce estimated smartphone bill of materials cost rose 8 to 10% in 2025, with further 5 to 7% in 2026, and cut its 2026 smartphone output forecast to -2% and notebooks to -2.4%. Manufacturers responded by soldering memory down and cutting low-end configurations. Demand did not fail. People still required phones and laptops and smart devices and other consumer devices. The parts just got too expensive to build them. The clearest signal was an inversion. DDR4, the older standard, passed DDR5 in price, exceeding it by more than 50% in some spot quotes by August 2025. End of life notices triggered last time buying against shrinking supply. Some vendors restarted DDR4 lines to capture the margin. Since this ordinary DDR4 and DDR5 prices were increased with higher demands, then the premium which justified this entire reallocation was compressed. When ordinary DDR4 and DDR5 memory prices are increasing, then profit margin between DDR4 and DDR5 and this HBM will be decreased. Then on March 18th, 2026, on Micron's fiscal second quarter earnings call, Chief Executive Officer Sanjay Mehrotra said that non-HBM margins are currently higher than HBM margins. So their reallocation decision become kind of less profitable one, right? Conventional DRAM prices had risen faster than HBM prices. TrendForce expects the HBM to DDR5 price ratio to narrow from 4 or 5 times toward 1 or 2 times by end of 2026, and found 64GB DDR4 server modules already more profitable per wafer than HBM. Samsung had already moved. DigiTimes reported in December 2025 that the company was free in roughly 80,000 wafers a month from older HBM3 and HBM3E lines and redirecting them into DDR5 and LPDDR4. Its HBM margins had fallen to around 30%. Its 64GB server modules were clearing above 75%. Then the competition caught up. On 5th June 2026 in Seoul, Jensen Huang confirmed that Samsung, SK Hynix and Micron had all qualified to supply HBM4 for their Vera Rubin platforms. Capacity expansion continued regardless. On June 29, 2026, Samsung and HK Hynix announced 800 trillion, about $518 billion to build 2 fabrication plants each in South Korea's southwest inside a national program valued about $576 billion. HK Hynix separately approved 54 trillion won for 4 more fabs. China deployed about $47.5 billion through its third national semiconductor fund behind CXMT, which took 7.6% of DRAM revenue and 4th place, then listed publicly. Morgan Stanley estimates China will account for 30% of net DRAM capacity additions through 2028. None of it arrives quickly, and a new constraint has appeared. The HBM4 based die is now built on TSMC logic process, and Nvidia has reserved roughly 60 to 65% of TSMC's 2026 advanced packaging. The market moved so fast. On July 7, 2026, Micron, Samsung, SK Hynix and the Roundhill Memory ETF all fell more than 20% from recent highs. Semiconductor stock lost about $1.5 trillion of value in under 2 weeks. There are several reasons. Michael Burry disclosed a short position against Micron. Two forecasts now sit against each other. SK Hynix Chief Executive Officer Kwak No-jung says 2027 will be the worst supply year in the industry's history, with demand exceeding capacity past 2030. And on other side, Bloomberg's opinion columnist Shu Li-ren argues the shortage peaked in the second quarter of 2026 and could turn to oversupply by 2028. The 2025 shortage is allocation, not scarcity. The 3 companies redirected their wafer supply towards the highest bidder, and your phone absorbed the difference. That's the path worth keeping. When memory prices move, don't look for a disaster. Look at where our wafers are going. And here's what I keep coming back to. Every forecast in this video, the shortage, the recovery, the oversupply, rest on one assumption. That is, AI spendings keep climbing. Nobody knows if it will. Most of the hyperscalers and companies keep investing on AI. Their spendings are climbing, but we don't know when they are going to stop them. I'm not sure whether they are taking return on their investment till now. May they will got their required return on its investment in near future. Then they will keep investing on AI. They will keep those spendings on AI. Nobody knows it till now. I think you got some kind of insight from this video. You can put your take in the comment section as well. In this video I have discussed different things like chips and fabrications, vapors, kind of things. If you need to get some kind of idea about these things, here I will put the video link about how grain of sand convert into a chip inside your phone. In there I am discussing everything about it, starting from silicon, how wafers are created and how the design prints on the top of wafer, fabrication, front end of the line, back end of the line, everything I am discussing in that video. Go and see that video as well if you are interested in full flow. I think you got some kind of insight from this video. If you find this video useful, you can share this video with someone who interested in these kind of videos, and don't forget to subscribe my channel. See you soon with my next video. Thank you.